All right. Well, greetings, greetings. Thank you so much for being with us. Those who are in person, Beth, it's great to be with you. And those who are watching this recording. So, we're really excited to continue to share mindful miracles throughout the year 2025. So, each month, we're coming to really just share on different topics as we look to be mindful and practice mindfulness throughout the year. And so this is the month of May. We meet every last Wednesday of the month. So today's May 28th, 2025. And today's topic is mindful miracles, mindfulness of abundance and gratitude. So I'm really excited to share with you on this particular topic. Um, let's see here. There we go. Kind of move some things around on my screen. All right. And so, again, welcome. Thank you for being here, just showing up, your presence. I am grateful. I am extending gratitude to you all for just being here, a part of this mindfulness practice. Really wanting to dive into your own sense of gratitude and opening up to the abundance that is our birthright and just allowing those miracles to unfold. I'll talk in a little bit about one of my mentors. What she says is what we appreciate appreciates. So, and what she means by that is when we bring a sense of gratitude to what we have, it opens us up for that even more to come. So, I want to extend gratitude to you for being here and part of this mindfulness session and part of this practice. And I'll take us through an opening practice. This is just our agenda slide. We'll talk about what is mindful gratitude. We'll also jump into the concept of abundance versus scarcity mindset. I know for me, I still have to practice and do my own self work around releasing that scarcity mindset. We'll also talk about the ripple effect of gratitude, what that means for our biology. Just extending that sense of appreciation and gratitude, how it can actually change our biochemistry, not only for us, it can also impact those around us in our relationships. I'll also walk us through a guided gratitude meditation. And then lastly, we'll walk through everyday tools for abundance and we'll close with a mindfulness of abundance practice and have some time for questions and answers or if that comes up. So, with that, let's go right into our opening practice. Again, I'm Dr. Cenell Boch. I'm excited that you are here on this session as we kind of dive into mindfulness of abundance and gratitude. So, finding a comfortable position. If you're driving and listening to this or watching it, then I'd encourage you to kind of keep your eyes open, of course, but just kind of being in more of a relaxed position and noticing your surroundings. Those of us who are still and in a place where we can gently close our eyes or lower our gaze, I'll invite you to do so. And bringing the attention to that life giving force, that life giving breath, and simply notice the breath. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just noticing the inhale and the exhale. And we'll do that for the next 3 breaths. And as you allow your attention and awareness to settle on the breath, just remembering, and it's always a remembrance, that the body takes in just as much breath that it needs, and then it exhales and releases when it no longer needs that particular breath. releasing the carbon dioxide and anything that we no longer need in that moment. And the next breath, I'd invite you to bring a sense of gratitude to the abundance of air flowing in and exhaling, releasing what no longer is needed. And now let's take two more breaths, the sense of gratitude and release. And when you're ready, you can gently bring your eyes and attention back to the screen. And that simple practice, the opening practice of noticing the breath and bringing some gratitude to the air flowing in, the abundance and what we need in that moment, and then releasing what is no longer needed. Just that simple practice of gratitude for the breath. It's part of being mindful of the breath and having some gratitude for the abundance of the breath as it flows in the body and is released when we no longer need that breath. Beautiful. That was our opening practice as we brought a sense of mindfulness of breath. As the breath enters the body, the abundance of that breath in that moment, and showing some gratitude for that. So, what is mindful gratitude? Well, we know mindfulness is being present, being aware in this moment without judgment. I love how Dr. John Kabat-Zinn says, mindfulness, by definition, is a pretty simple concept. However, its power lies in its practice. And it brings me again back to gratitude for you for being here, for us showing up tonight, today, and practicing mindfulness of our abundance, mindfulness of gratitude for what we do have. So, being mindful is being present in this moment without judgment, being able to focus on what we do have and bringing a sense of gratitude to what we do have in this moment without judgment. And I know that's easier said than done. And that's why we practice. And so, gratitude. What is gratitude? Gratitude is a simple appreciation for what is. And this is a really simple definition. It's just appreciation for what is, not necessarily trying to change it. However, this is where we're at, and we're going to be able to show some appreciation for where we are in this moment. And when we do this practice of mindful gratitude, we can foster a clarity around things that are happening in our life. We can even bring some joy to those things as we're moving toward things that we're looking to improve or enhance. And we kind of settle into this space of contentment, truly being grateful for what we do have in this moment. And so, what I invite you to do is to think of something right now that you're grateful for today. And you can put that in the chat, um, or you can just think about that. What is something that you're grateful for today? I'll give you about 5 or so seconds to kind of think about that. Think of something you're grateful for today. Okay. So as you think about that, kind of think about it a little bit more in depth. I'm going to ask another prompt here is kind of why are you grateful for that? What happened that allowed you to feel some sense of gratitude and gratefulness for that? And have you been able to show appreciation for that? Ah, that says I got my tomatoes planted today. Yay, woohoo. Oh, I forgot on my first slide of this particular session, I had strawberries on that first slide, and I meant to tell a story about our strawberry patch. So we have June bearing strawberries. So we already have our first uh, kind of batch of strawberries. We got, I think, 10 quarts the other day. My husband and I were picking berries. So I'm grateful for a garden. Thanks for that reminder, Beth. And tomatoes, I know they're going to be abundant. And, we're talking a little bit about nature too. It's a great reminder of abundance. I mean, we probably couldn't count the number of leaves on a tree if we really wanted to. So nature shows us all the time the abundance that's all around us and even within us in our lives. So thank you for focusing on that thing or situation or maybe even person that you're grateful for today. And so the next area of attention we're going to talk about is scarcity versus an abundance mindset. And this is really big. This is really important because I think our culture, especially in the US, but I venture to say it's a global culture of scarcity, that there's never enough, that there's a fear around, will I have enough to be able to do the things I need to do? And granted, you know, I know as a health scientist that this is a significant and very real um, concern in many areas of the world. However, I probably venture to say for a majority of those, probably at least in the US, the fear-based and the competitive and the not enough is really more of a scarcity mindset than an actual condition, environmental condition. And so I really want to point to this because this mindset of not enough really perpetuates itself, and that if there's not enough, then there may never be enough. And so we're constantly striving for more and more and more. And then there's this fear around, will I have enough? And I'll just, say this personally, this is something that, again, this is a practice for me where I'm constantly reminding myself that of my abundant nature, that abundance is our birthright, and being able to appreciate what I do have helps me to alleviate some of the scarcity mindset. So we just talked about what you are grateful for today. So when we slip into this scarcity mindset, what I offer is for or invite you to do is to look at those things that you are grateful for. That's right in front of us because sometimes we're not cognizant of those things that are right in front of us, that allows us to kind of be more content and even have some joy. So I really want to focus in on when you slip into that scarcity mindset, kind of bring it right back to gratitude. And some people say just think of three things that you're grateful for. I love to say think of 10 to 12 things that you're grateful for because that actually releases some endorphins as part of our biochemistry. And it really does change the mindset from scarcity to more of gratitude and abundance. And so the next is abundance mindset. Abundance mindset says there is enough, and it's more possibility based versus fear based. What are the potential here? What is the possibility here? And so that's a big shift to go from fear based to possibility. And I love this because for a long time, what drew me to mindfulness practices is because I was dealing with a lot of anxiety myself. And so what I begin to cultivate is this possibility based, potential based, infinite possibilities. There's lots of different ways that I could approach a situation. For me, a lot of times it is financial. Like, how can I, continue to, boost my revenue for my business or look at other opportunities? And so instead of it coming from a fear based or scarcity mindset, I really learned to cultivate this infinite possibilities uh, mindset or possibility based mindset. And it allows me to be generous, generous with my time. It may not always be financial. However, being generous with our finances, our time, our energy, how we show up in spaces, Those are all examples of an abundance mindset. And I really believe we can cultivate that. So I'd invite you again to look at opportunities to cultivate an abundance mindset. What does that look like for you? What does it feel like for you? When we're in an abundance mindset, there's a certain feeling that accompanies that mindset. Is it joy? Is it a light feeling? Is something that makes you happy? So really want to invite you to think about that abundance mindset and what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like for you? And our mindfulness practice helps us to do that. It helps us to shift from that fear to more fulfillment. You know, Instead of having a fear base, it's possibility based. Instead of fear and anxiety, it's more of a contentment, a fulfillment. So I like for you to put this in the chat or just think about it if you're watching this. Where do you notice scarcity thinking in your life? Where do you notice scarcity thinking in your life? Ah, money. That says money. I understand that 100%, 100%. I notice it quite a bit. And I love being with each of us in community on the last Wednesday of each month because teaching and doing these sessions is really I'm teaching myself. I feel like I need this just as much as we all need this, right? For those of us who are showing up. And so it's really great to be able to continue to practice. It is a practice. It's not something that happens, at least for me, it wasn't something that has happened overnight. It's a practice. And continuing to remind myself of an abundance that's all around me and not only around me. It used to be like, oh, I can see it in nature, I can see it in trees, but where is it showing up in my life? And now I'm starting to see it more and more, not only around me, but within me and working through me. So around me, within me, and working through me. So it's around you, it's in you, it's part of your birthright, and it's working through you. So just remember that. So those areas that you do notice scarcity thinking in your life, beginning to apply again that abundance mindset, focus on gratitude for what we do have, what you do have, and then what you appreciate appreciates, and then watch that flow continue to happen. Okay. So the ripple effect of gratitude, when we begin to practice, remember it's a practice. And I love this idea of mindfulness of gratitude, mindfulness of abundance. It's a practice. And invite you to do it on a daily basis or at least a weekly basis. If it's not something you've been doing daily, let's at least maybe add it in weekly. There is a ripple effect. It can improve our sleep, improve our mood, have more of a joyful mood, how we show up, more of a positive mood, and even our relationship, how we relate to others. And I love even how we relate to ourselves. I feel like that's probably one of the most important, right? How we relate to ourselves. Many times, like, Beth was saying with finances, for me, the same thing when I make a mistake with my finances, in the past, and even now, I'll be honest, sometimes it's not quite as harsh, but it may still come up. I used to say, oh, that was dumb. How could you do that? Oh, you're so stupid. My goodness. And now, I put my hand on my chest and I give myself some compassion. Yes, Cenell, you made a mistake or that didn't quite turn out the way you wanted it to, and that's okay. We'll learn from this and we'll move forward. And I'm grateful for this aspect of what happened. I was able to learn from it. It wasn't as quite as bad as it could have been, whatever, the situation might be. So it can improve our relationship with ourselves and also improve our relationship, how we relate to others. So that's one of the ripple effects of gratitude. And at the beginning there, again, I said it improves sleep, so we can sleep a little more sound. Going to bed at night, even tonight, say 3 things that you're grateful for before falling asleep. I even like to say 12 things. My husband and I play this game of 12 positive things, 12 things that we're grateful for, especially when we get into a bad mood or something's happened we'll say to each other, all right, so say 12 positive things. And it does, right in that minute, that moment, it shifts, our mindset. It may not change the situation, however, it does shift our mindset. And that allows us to approach the situation differently, which can then ultimately change the situation potentially. So those are good things. And then it increases our resilience and optimism for both ourselves and those around us. And resilience is that muscle, our kind of our bounce back muscle, our ability to overcome obstacles, again, to be able to work through those challenges. So gratitude has a relationship with resilience, our ability to get through those tough situations. And then here's a quote from my mentor, Lynn Twist. She wrote the book Soul of Money. Just an absolutely wonderful mentor. I'd encourage you to look her up if you don't know who Lynn Twist is. She says, what you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. And what she means by that is what you appreciate, it kind of opens the door for more of that abundance, more of that joy, more of that contentment to flow into your life, more community. Maybe what you're seeking is more community, more connection. So appreciating the community and the connection that we have in this moment will allow us to open the door for additional in that flow. So it's really a beautiful thing to see happen. What you appreciate appreciates. And then gratitude turns what we have into enough. Another thing Lynn talks about is the mindset of sufficiency, that what we have can be sufficient. It can be enough. And so I invite you to think about, what does that mean for you? If you're grateful for something and things that are in your life, how does that help you to see that, yeah, I do have enough. I can be content. And it doesn't mean that we have to stop, thriving. I think there's a difference there. We can continue to grow and, to be ambitious, and to thrive, and feel like there's enough, like I'm sufficient in this space as I'm moving toward, that goal. So again, it goes back to what Lynn says: what you appreciate in this state allows the door to open up for, you know, that to appreciate or to grow. And so, what I'd like to do now is to walk us through a guided gratitude meditation, focusing on the breath and the body. And it'll bring us I'll ask you to bring to mind one person or thing that you're grateful for. And then we'll just practice this mantra that I'll ask you to say: in this moment, I have enough. I am enough. And then we'll do a little bit of reflection on how you feel or what you notice after this practice. So, again, find that comfortable position. You can lower your gaze or close your eyes. And bringing your attention to your breath, take a big inhale and exhale. And as you settle into this posture of calm, allowing the body to relax and the mind to calm, I'll ask you to bring to your mind one person or thing that you're grateful for. And as you think of that person or the situation or thing that you're grateful for, notice in your body where you feel the gratitude and how it makes you feel. Is it a warm, tingling sensation? Is it a sense of joy? And notice where in your body you feel this sensation. Is it in the heart space, in your chest? Is it in your belly? Just notice. And wherever you feel that sensation, I want you to think of it as a glowing yellow light that's pulsating, just getting a little bigger in that space that it's in. Again, maybe it's the chest or the belly. It's a warm yellow light that's pulsating and starting to grow. Continue to think of the person or thing. And now allow that yellow light to expand a little bigger. Let it grow from the chest or belly. Allow it to expand into the entire torso, into the arms, and moving up and washing over the head, down the back. Allow it to expand down into the lower body, all the way down into the earth and connecting us to the earth. And in that connection with the earth, we feel the abundance of the earth and that sense of gratitude from our body, an expansive connection of abundance and gratitude. And let that yellow light just pulsate, remembering the mantra, in this moment, I have enough, I am enough. Just repeating that a few more times. In this moment, allowing the yellow light to pulsate, I have enough, I am enough. In this moment, I have enough, I am enough. And allow that yellow light to go up above the head and extend out the sides of the body, through the front and the back of the body, almost like a huge sphere expanding all up and around and back in front of the body, down into the earth, meeting that abundance. And remembering the mantra one more time, in this moment, I have enough, I am enough. And noticing how you feel in this moment. Mm. And when you're ready, you allow the yellow light to kind of come back toward the body and into that space that you found it most comfortable to begin with. And still remembering the connection of abundance to the earth and the expansiveness of that yellow light. And taking another deep breath. Exhale. And when you're ready, you can bring your attention back to the screen. And as you gently open your eyes, I want you to notice, what did you feel or what did you notice as we were doing that guided gratitude meditation? What did you feel? What did you notice? Was it a sense of contentment? Did you feel that in the moment that you are enough and that you have enough? I know I felt that way. Did you feel that glowing light expand? Ah, that says presence and grounded. Nice. And so it's a reminder. It's a beautiful practice. Mindfulness of gratitude meditation is something we can practice again on a daily basis, and if not, even on a weekly basis. And we can feel that grounded presence, as Beth said, a sense of I am enough. I have enough. And we can feel that shift happen. So thank you for practicing that particular gratitude meditation. So we'll move into abundance. So today is all about gratitude and abundance. And these are just some everyday tools for abundance. You probably have heard these before. And so the question really is, what are you already practicing, or what would you like to try this week that's on this list, or maybe something that's not on this list? So gratitude journaling. Um, if you're already or contemplative writing, with regards to gratitude, there's a little bit of difference between just contemplative writing or mindfulness journaling and gratitude. Gratitude is really focusing on those things that we are grateful for. So bringing that sense of gratitude as you're writing. What am I grateful for? And you can do that with each night, writing 12 good things that happened throughout the day, or just 12 things that you're grateful for. I like verbalizing it. However, some people prefer to write those things down. You can also, focus on that mantra, that affirmation. I love mantras and affirmations, and saying those in the morning when we first wake up. That's a right time of the day to engage in affirmation, as well as before we go to bed at night. And how we wake up in the morning and how we retire at night are really important times. So those will be great times to practice um, an affirmation like this. I am enough. I have enough. And at first, the mind will be like, okay, do you really? Say you're in debt, so now how do you have enough? And so, but now I know I am enough, and I do have enough, and there's infinite possibilities for me as I continue to evolve in my financial situation, and I begin to see doors opening. So it's a really beautiful practice to adopt an affirmation that resonates with you. I am enough, I have enough, may or may not resonate. However, finding one that resonates with you. Another everyday tool of abundance could be mindful walks in nature. Earlier, I talked about the abundance in nature. Try to count the number of leaves on a tree, um, or pine needles on a pine tree, pine tree. It's really difficult to do because there's so many. Um, Beth talked about planting her tomato garden. Sometimes we have so much that some of it might go bad because we can't consume it, or we have to give it away. And so being in nature is a great reminder of the abundance that's all around us. And it's our birthright. It is part of our birthright, remembering, because sometimes we slip into that scarcity mindset, me included. And so walking in nature, mindful walks can be a way of remembering. And then the last thing is sharing appreciation out loud. Talking to someone, telling them that you appreciate them, sharing with them some of the things that you're grateful for. These are great ways to practice and show appreciation around your abundance. And abundance could be friendship, friendship with, someone that you care about and that cares about you. So making sure that you share that appreciation out loud, it is powerful. It is powerful. I know even in my relationship with my husband, when we share what we appreciate about each other, it has transformed our relationship. We may start out a bit moody, um, and I very quickly will say, I love you. That I do know. And I appreciate you, and then whatever we're, maybe disputing about, we can work through that, because I start with, I know for sure that I do love you. We'll start there, and I appreciate you. So we can start with that sense of appreciation. So sharing appreciation out loud is very beneficial as well. All right. So which one of those, let me back up again. Which one of the tools would you like to try out this week? Which one of the everyday tools of abundance would you like to try out this week? I'm make sure I watch my time here. Is it going to be gratitude journaling? Or are you going to look at 12 things that you want to, before you go to bed at night, 12 things you want to focus on that you appreciate, or positive things that have happened? Do you want to look at saying an affirmation or mantra in the morning, like I am enough, I have enough? Going on mindful walks, looking at abundance in nature as a reminder. And then, or do you want to focus on sharing out loud your sense of gratitude and appreciation? All right, Beth, I'm gonna see what you have it. All right, 12 appreciations. I'm gonna hold you to it, Beth. Beth says she's gonna share 12 appreciations. I think maybe you met at night, Beth, or before, but sometime throughout the day. And it's great because by the, it's a mood changer. I love 12. I love more than just three because by the time you get to five or six, you really have to start to think. It's like, okay, what else? I know I'm grateful for more. And me and my husband, we will encourage each other all the way to 12 because by that 12th one, our mood has totally changed. It has totally shifted from that scarcity or bad mood, scarcity mindset, or irritated mood, bad mood, to one of appreciation and gratitude. And doing that gratitude meditation earlier, you felt that sense of presence or groundedness. You might have felt a sense of a warming glow in the body, of contentment, of even joy. And so these practices, they're really powerful. Okay. All right. So now we'll move into some mindful sharing. And Beth, I guess you get to, if you don't mind being on camera, you get to kind of steal the show. I can stop sharing. And then if there's questions, thoughts, or experiences, I love to hear from you what resonated most with you tonight. So I am going to stop sharing for a second. And if you'd like to share, you can. Otherwise, we'll just kind of keep moving through.
So the one question I have, the one that always gets me, is the whole thing with money. You'll be like, you're supposed to, like I listened to the book, The 5 a.m. Club. I've read Lynn's work. And you're supposed to kind of act like you have it because you need to be in flow, but then you will need to be responsible at the same time, right? And my husband, because I walked away from a good job a few years ago, and I always made a lot of money, which is great. But then it's like, okay, it's sucking my soul, so I'm gonna pivot. But now it's like, okay, I did this. And it's like, well, how are you paying for that? Right. So I
Mm,
say, no, 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 you can't do that because then you're bringing a scarcity mindset into it. Right. You've got this other person who also is invested in what you're trying to do, but doesn't really understand. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
you've
so
brought your husband on board, which is great. I can't see if I go, okay, we're going to do our 12 appreciations now. He's going to roll his eyes at me. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
do,
I
I
just,
do. So I guess my question is, what would you like to see happen with regards to gratitude and abundance? And how can you bring a sense of gratitude and contentment to what is?
right.
So there's two questions there.
Um,
And I start with the second one. What sense of gratitude and abundance can you
so
bring
that
to what
I
is?
am enough and I have enough,
Okay,
right?
okay. Yes, yes.
So that works. But then there's life, realistic stuff, right?
See, and this is it. This is the disconnect, right? I can hear it. The disconnect is, okay, yes, I know I have enough and I know I am enough. And then there's real life because I don't have enough. And so then there's a conflict, right? Am I getting it wrong or is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, but like, okay, it's spring, so you gotta go get all your marketing stuff, and it's all like gonna be in abundance once it starts producing. But spring's just expensive. It's like almost Christmas. It's worse than Christmas for me, right? Because you have all this spring cleaning because of winter, and there's wind that knocked things down, and you know what I'm saying? And so, like, yes, it will be abundant, but when winter's done its thing, it's not abundant right this minute. It needs to be fixed. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And so I guess I want to ask, because it's kind of turning into a little bit of a coaching session, or maybe just,
Sorry.
no, it's great. I just want to ask, how could we, or how could you um, find contentment in how you approach spring? Kind of what
I
would that
do
look like?
because I love it. And I'm out there picking up all those pine needles you're talking about because I have a wooded lot, which is also what I was appreciating. But then you have this other person in your world who goes to work all day and comes home and doesn't, mm, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, it's still a lot, right? It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. And you're right. And so that person who may not appreciate, I guess, again, this is all about mindfulness of gratitude and appreciation, mindfulness of abundance. So what is abundant and what can you appreciate maybe about that person? Just give me three things and then we'll move on from that. I just want to bring a little bit of appreciation to that entity. What are maybe three things? Just three.
Three things about Andy. He goes with the flow.
Yes.
He supports what I do, and he's a great dad.
Okay. Give me three more.
Um,
Those came out so quick.
those came out too quick.
They came out really quick, though. That was good. It was really good.
Meeting's usually nice. And just whatever I ask him to do. Um, and he's good with my craziness.
Okay. So that was
Those
six
last two were
things.
almost the same, right?
No, it's okay. That's good. And so, how do you feel about uh, what you had said earlier, that they're maybe not quite as on board? It's kind of even hard to think about it now, right? It's like, wait, what did I
I
say?
mean, well, no, but I still have that situation, right, where I walk around going, "Oh, I'm enough. I have enough. Everything's great. It'll all work out. The the universe is abundant." And he's like, "Yeah, but dude, you spent $4,000 today. See that we've got abundance, you know."
Well, yeah. So, and so there, okay, again, I am
You know what
enough
I'm
and I have
saying?
enough. And then the contentment, and then like, okay, then there's wisdom, right? So what I guess
Yeah, you've
that
got somebody who's like, you really don't have enough to do this, right? Like, yes, I do. Don't say that.
Right. And so I understand what you're saying. It's like, I don't want to say I don't have enough. And at the same time, I want to approach this with wisdom. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So, yes, I get that. I
Come
get,
on to my boat of abundance
yes.
and wear your rose-colored glasses with me, please.
Yes. And is there an opportunity for infinite possibilities in how you approach that abundance? Because yeah, there is, I am enough. There's a lot. There's an abundance, right? That you see.
Right.
And we also have to use some wisdom there, right?
Right. Sorry, my dog is gonna be
Uh,
ready for dinner. I'm gonna mute.
okay. So thank you for that, though. Thank you, Beth. You bring out a really great point. And how do we look at life from a standpoint of both an appreciation for what we do have, that abundance, and also be able to approach those things from a space of wisdom. And so I know this is something that I talk with my husband about too. We have that conversation. Sometimes I want to do a lot more than what my bank account says. He's like, well, wait a minute, I feel like we balance each other out, which is, and I still have to use wisdom in how I do these things. Otherwise, it does put me in a bit of a bind. And so I get what you're
And
saying. And it sounds,
that's a great appreciation, right? You balance me. We'll just stop there.
yeah, 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 he does. It sounds like he kind of helps balance you, right? Is that what you're
There
saying?
we go. Say that.
Yeah. All right, good, good. And so I stopped sharing, but I kind of need my slides back. So I'm going to share again. Let's see here. All right. So we were able to kind of dive into some questions. Thank you so much, Beth. That was really rich. And we could probably talk about that at length. However, hopefully it was able to help those of you who are watching the recording with regards to some of these really tough situations and how do we handle our abundance with wisdom and contentment. And those are things, it's a practice. It really is. It's a practice. So I want to encourage all of us to continue to practice. This tonight is an investment in ourselves as we look at appreciation and abundance and gratitude. Um, I'll take us back to the quote of my mentor, Lynn Twist. She says, "What you appreciate appreciates." So, spending that time to look at our abundance and knowing that we are abundant and bringing a sense of gratitude, whether it's an abundance of energy and vitality, an abundance of health. It could be an abundance with regards to the financial situation. It could be abundance of community and connections and friendships. All of those things they can appreciate when we appreciate them. And that means they can grow and expand. Remember that abundance is our birthright in all the different ways spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically. That abundance is our birthright. It is your birthright. And bringing mindful gratitude to our abundance every day, it becomes a practice. It's a remembrance. We have to remind ourselves of this. So I'd invite us to bring mindful gratitude um, to our abundance in all those different ways: physical, emotional, spiritual, physical abundance. To try to do that on a daily basis if possible. And thank you for coming in tonight and or watching this video, journeying with us. You can do it throughout the rest of 2025. We can continue to be in community. It's the last Wednesday of each month. That last Wednesday of the month, we'll have a different mindfulness practice or approach. This month was mindfulness of gratitude and abundance. Remember, gratitude is a daily practice. Abundance means it begins with our awareness, that we are enough, that we have enough, and that abundance is working around us in nature. It works through us, and abundance is in us. I can even go into the biology, the trillions of cells in our body, trillions of cells, an abundance of cells, all working in synchronicity to be who we are from a physical standpoint. So abundant begins with our awareness. And then noticing our mindful miracles, they are moments, that we choose to notice, that we can have these miracles in each moment. I love to stay connected with you. Again, I'm Dr. Cenell Boch. I do have a book out right now called Resilience, titled Resilience, Overcoming Obstacles with Mindfulness. It is more of a workbook where you can kind of journey through uh, some life situations within the book and kind of, chronicle those things as I discuss my own personal resilience. And then there's my website, also on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And our upcoming Mindful Miracles program will be the last Wednesday of June, June 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And I just want to thank you again for being a part of this mindful journey. The book is available on Amazon, wordy.com. It's a publishing company or anywhere books are sold. And usually I do our sessions with Coach Lynn Wong. Lynn is out of the country right now. So greetings from China, from Lynn. She and I will probably be together again in June. We love to again stay connected, and you can always email me if you have questions. Again, thank you so much for your presence tonight. And then I'll just go ahead and stop sharing and say thank you so much. Thank you, Beth, for your involvement in the conversation and dialogue. These are true things and things that we we really do maybe struggle with or suffer from. I know I've suffered with regards to financial situations. So I'm continuing to cultivate a mindset of abundance. And it's a daily practice for me. It's a daily practice. So for those of you watching the recording, I want to encourage you to continue to cultivate that abundance versus scarcity mindset and use wisdom, as Beth was saying.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you,
Yes,
Cenell.
you're very welcome. All right. Well, peace and blessings, everyone. I'll look forward to seeing you next month. Okay. Bye.